This is a simple song about simple things.
I have 2 young children, and I was making them breakfast, and as I was doing so, just these words and this tune started coming into my mind, and I captured it. I went to the piano, and within 2 days I had a song.
A child is killed, a child is killed, a child is killed, so many killed.
One of the things around Palestine is people feel very talked at. And one of the beautiful things about music is that it touches your heart immediately in sound, and hopefully holds a healing space. And that's what I've tried to do with the song.
Who was that child? What was their story? What would they say?
We're often told that, you know, that the whole situation between Palestine and Israel is complicated, but very often I think that's really meaning it's uncomfortable to talk about. There remain incredibly simple things about it. Occupation is wrong, that is simple. A genocide is wrong, that is simple. Apartheid is wrong, that is simple. Killing children is wrong, that is simple. Killing civilians is wrong, that is simple. And I could go on and on and on. And unless, you know, aspects of what is simple about this become the common narrative on which we build a future, then there's no hope. And I believe that consciousness around the world is shifting around what simple things we need to build a better future.
Is yours.
You have become one of the most prominent voices calling for a ceasefire in Gaza and supporting Palestinian rights. What impact do you believe this sort of form of activism has?
I think it's huge. You know, our politicians on the whole have not been effective, have not been useful, have not done enough over these last 20 months. And so I think the space of culture is hugely important. And I think anyone and everyone who has stood up and used their platform, whether it's as an actor or a musician, a celebrity, or whether it's just someone walking down the street wearing their keffiyeh or a badge, you know, has been part of what I think has been everyone's duty over this period, which is, you know, to expand the space of Palestinian solidarity.
The Palestine Solidarity Movement is the civil rights movement of our time. It is the anti-apartheid movement of our time.
You gave a very moving speech at an event in London recently that circulated widely online, and you also called Palestine the moral axis of our time, which really struck me, having, as a journalist, covered this story for nearly 30 years. That really struck me. Just explain, you know, your thinking as you penned that.
All these norms of international human rights law are being broken one after the other. And it's happening on the back of Palestine, but as I say, it is not just Palestine. And it's not that solving Palestine means that all the other world's problems will be solved, but it means that you have politicians that have the moral grit to be able to take on the vested interest that exists in our society.
This is going to sound very trite, having listened to you. You're so eloquent and so passionate. How concerned have you been about taking a stand and suffering as a result of it, professionally and personally, being cancelled?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was worried when I first stepped out on a red carpet with the word ceasefire now that would mean the end of my career, but it was the exact opposite. I found that in standing up, you find yourself, but you also find your people, and your people find you. I haven't stopped working. I was just amusingly filming recently, playing an MI6 agent in a Gemma Arterton drama, which is going to be out next year. I've been on stage at the National Theatre, on the main stage in the Olivier. I've done my own play. So on the one side, I think some of these feelings of threats are not actually entirely true. However, what is true is that there is a sense of massive silence around it that everyone enforces together, and strength in numbers. I urge all my fellow artists to stand up, because I think it's what they actually in their hearts want to do. You know, we make better art, we make better work when we are truer to ourselves. When you're hiding, it always has a negative effect, not just on you, but on the culture around you. And we're up to this. This is the time, you know? The time is now to start facing this.
Well, that was actor and activist Khaled Abdallah speaking to me in June. Israel has repeatedly rejected accusations of apartheid and genocide.